This is your WCFW Daily News Roundup for 105.7 CFW in Chippewa Falls and 93.5 The Tap in Eau Claire.
For 105.7 CFW News, I'm James Kelly. As the Chippewa Valley continues to struggle with the aftermath of 2 hospital closures, changes at the federal level could put even more strain on rural health care. Current Lieutenant Governor and 2026 gubernatorial candidate Sarah Rodriguez highlighted some of the biggest rural healthcare challenges facing the state during an appearance on the WXCO Morning Show this week. Civic Media's Isabella Nieto has more.
Rodriguez said decisions made in Washington are putting additional strain on rural hospital systems that already operate on thin margins.
They're having cuts to Medicaid, cuts to Medicare. This is going to hit our rural hospital systems way harder than it's going to hit our suburban and urban hospital systems.
Rodriguez said keeping hospitals open is essential if Wisconsin wants rural areas to grow.
They're going to have housing, they're going to have childcare, and they're going to have a healthcare system that isn't 4 hours away to be able to deliver a baby.
Rodriguez says there's a severe workforce shortage, compounding access problems, especially outside urban centers.
We're going to be short about 20,000 nurses in the next 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's that dire of a situation. We're also short of clinicians in our rural spaces, physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants.
Rodriguez said as governor, she would focus on incentives to bring healthcare workers to underserved communities.
Whether that is assistance with loan repayment, whether that's assistance with down payment on a home, something that we can financially entice providers to be able to go into places where we have a shortage.
As she travels the state, Rodriguez said concerns about access to care are top of mind statewide.
There is so much more that unites us than divides us in the state of Wisconsin.
I'm Isabella Nieto.
The Wisconsin Department of Health Services is requesting additional funding from state lawmakers to cover upcoming changes to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as Food Share in Wisconsin. Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act signed into law last summer, states will need to pay a higher share of the administrative costs for SNAP programs beginning in October. Wisconsin's share of those administrative costs will increase from 50% to 75%, prompting the call for new state funding. DHS Secretary Kirsten Johnson says the agency is requesting nearly $70 million in new state funding. Without it, she warned the agency could see more errors in their administration of the program. Under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, states with higher error rates are required to pay for a larger portion of SNAP benefits. States with an error rate above 6% would need to pay between 5 and 15% more, which would cost as much as $205 million in Wisconsin. The additional funding would go towards hiring quality control staff to ensure Wisconsin's Food Share program continues to have one of the lowest error rates in the country. The Wisconsin State Senate officially approved 2 proposed constitutional amendments on Wednesday. The amendments have now passed in the Assembly and Senate in consecutive sessions and will appear on the November ballot for voters across the state to consider. The Republican-controlled legislature has pursued constitutional amendments more often over recent years, hoping to circumvent the potential veto or partial veto from Governor Tony Evers. One of the proposed amendments would ban government entities from discriminating against or granting preferential treatment to individuals based on diversity in public education or employment. Republican state lawmakers have targeted diversity, equity, and inclusion practices for years, but have not been able to get previous legislative efforts signed by Governor Evers. The other proposed amendment would bar the government from closing houses of worship during times of emergency, like the COVID-19 pandemic. The state Senate also approved a third proposed constitutional amendment that would restrict the governor's veto power. The city of Eau Claire has closed its outdoor rinks and warming shelters due to the extreme cold moving through the region this weekend. According to a press release, all outdoor rinks and warming shelters in the city will be closed on Friday and Saturday. They are scheduled to reopen on Sunday when the forecasted high temperature jumps back above 0 degrees. According to a WEAU report, city officials say their data shows the warming shelters will have little to no attendance due to the colder temperatures without people using the rinks or sledding hills. City of Altoona officials may declare a state of emergency to address damage to the fire department building. According to city officials, fluctuating temperatures throughout December and early January created an icy dam along the edge of the building's roof, causing water to build up and leak through, damaging administrative offices. Fire department officials say the damage will not affect their ability to respond to calls, but could cause safety issues for staff members. The emergency declaration would allow the city to fund the repairs, even though they are not part of the 2026 budget. An Eau Claire man is facing felony charges after being accused of threatening a pair of judges and Eau Claire Police Chief Matt Ruckus. According to court documents, 52-year-old Billy Curran was charged with 3 felony counts of threatening bodily harm, making terrorist threats, and misdemeanor telephone harassment. Curran allegedly claimed the judges and police chief were corrupt and that he would shoot them dead if they were not arrested by federal agents. Authorities say he admitted to making the threats but claimed he did not actually intend to harm anyone. With extreme cold temperatures moving through the region, health experts are sharing tips on how to prevent frostbite. Residents should avoid spending time outside if possible or take precautions if staying home isn't an option. They should dress in windproof and waterproof layers, wear mittens, a hat, boots, and a scarf when outside. Frostbite can occur within minutes, so residents should look out for their skin turning red before losing color with tingling or numbness in their extremities. If you do get frostbite, it's critical to warm up slowly to avoid burns. For 105.7 CFW News, I'm James Kelly.
It's the Bucks and the Nuggets. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, the Bucks take on the Denver Nuggets tonight at Fiserv Forum. Milwaukee's lost 4 of their last 5 games, including Wednesday at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Bobby Portis on what he saw on the tape of that game.
I think just overall, you always want to just take care of the ball, especially against teams like that, scrappy teams that kind of feed off transition baskets and things. So kind of sad we didn't take care of the ball, get off to a good start early, and that kind of just poured on to the rest of the game. Wish we would have, took care of the ball better.
College hoops, another win for Wisconsin. The Badgers beat Penn State 98-71 last night in Pennsylvania. Wisconsin has now won 5 in a row. They'll host the USC Trojans on Sunday. NFL, the Packers' search for a new defensive coordinator continues. Matt LaFleur interviewed former Packers defensive back Al Harris. Harris has been a secondary coach for the Chiefs, the Cowboys, and currently for the Chicago Bears. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
The cold is brutal this morning, and it's not going to warm up much today either. Mostly sunny with a high between 5 and 10 below zero today. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low from 15 to 20 below zero. Tomorrow, partly cloudy with a high hovering either side of zero. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 23 below.
That's your WCFW and the TAP Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at WCFW.FM or thetap.fm.